più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano.
Hi, I'm Maud from Pit Magazine, and today we're going to be making tomato passata. It's my favourite time of the year in the garden and the kitchen. We're in the middle of autumn and it's when all the summer fruits and vegetables are pumping out the very last of their harvest. And all that produce means we have lots of tomatoes to make tomato passata. Tomato passata is basically just tomatoes passed through a passata machine like this one. A passata machine works by sieving out all of the skins and pips from your tomatoes, and it gives you the characteristic smooth, fluffy, rich tomato sauce that has a really nice sweet flavour. If you don't have a passata machine, that's totally fine. You can just use a blender. You'll end up with a sauce that has pips and seeds in it, and that tends to give the sauce a little bit more of a bitter flavour. But it's nice and rustic, and it's a great option if you don't have access to a passata machine.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso.
You can use any sort of tomatoes for tomato passata, but the best ones are these ones, the very famous San Marzano saucing tomato. The reason these tomatoes and other saucing varieties like Napoli paste, Roma, and Donella Supreme, the reason they're so good for making passata is that they have less pips and less water content than your average table tomato, and they have more of that pulpy, delicious flesh that turns into the passata. So if you can get your hands on saucing tomatoes, that's great, but any tomatoes you've got, even cherry tomatoes, will work.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso.
Other equipment you will need to make passata are some preserving jars. These are my favourite ones. They are Weck jars from Germany. They have this gorgeous glass top and little clips that are totally reusable, and then there's just a biodegradable rubber ring that you add in to vacuum seal your jar. You can also just use old sauce jars. Make sure they're super clean before you use them, and then you're good to go. The other specialised equipment you will need is some kind of an enormous pot or a Fowler's Vacola preserving machine or a pressure canner so that you can vacuum seal the passata once it's in the jar, and that keeps it really stable on your shelves and will basically last there as long as it takes you to eat the tomatoes. Tomato day can also get quite messy, so having lots of towels, bowls, spoons and tongs at the ready are a great idea.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso.
Our first step is to slice tomatoes in half. Some people just pop them in whole, but as you'll see, I like to do this because unfortunately in the last year or so we've got Queensland fruit fly here in Melbourne, and if you slice them in half you can make sure that you get any yucky bits out but still make the most of your harvest. When making passata, keep a large pot of water boiling throughout the whole process. First step is to add half tomatoes to the pot of boiling water. And leave them there for a minute or so. Then we remove the blanched tomatoes and they're ready to go through the passata machine. Place one bowl underneath the passata outlet at the back of your machine, and then at the side get another bowl to catch all the seeds and skins that will be coming out as you pass your tomatoes through. You also need to make sure that you attach your passata machine securely to the surface you're working on. Add the blanched tomatoes to the passata machine and turn the handle. push down with a spoon every now and again to make sure that the tomatoes pass through easily. You'll also need to add the seeds and skins back to the machine and pass that through at least 2 more times to extract the maximum amount of passata from your tomatoes. You'll also notice that the passata that comes out at this stage of the process is a lot richer and thicker. So really don't skip this step. It's pretty important. To your glass jar, add a couple of leaves of basil, a teaspoon or so of salt, and pour in passata. With weck jars, we need to place a rubber seal around the outside of the jar. Pop that in place. And secure with metal clips.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso.
Follow the instructions on your preserving kit or pressure canner, or water bath your tomato passata jars for at least 70 minutes. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to get more videos into your stream on simple skills for self-sufficiency, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications. If you'd like to find out more about growing in general or growing tomatoes specifically, check out Pip Magazine. In issue number 10 of the magazine, we've got a full tomato preserving guide, including lots of different recipes on drying tomatoes, fermenting them. And we also have in issue 12 of the magazine a full tomato varieties guide. You can subscribe to Pip Magazine and support our work at pipmagazine.com.au.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor.